Welcome to the Underutilized Property Program Guidance webinar, Community One Stop for Growth. Roadmap. What is the Community One Stop for Growth? Program overview. Where does the program fit in the One Stop? Important program parameters. How to be competitive. Examples of successful applications. Completing the full application. Key dates and opportunities to get guidance. What is the Community One Stop for Growth? The Community One Stop for Growth is the main driver of economic development in the Commonwealth. The One Stop is a single application portal and collaborative review process designed to streamline the experience for the applicant and better coordinate economic development programs and staff on engagement and grant making. The One Stop is built around what we call the development continuum. This framework represents the life cycle of a major community development project from the initial community visioning to final construction. Each development continuum category is made up of multiple project types, which are shown in the bold on screen. Each project type is tied to a specific one-stop program. The Underutilized Property Program Overview. Program staff, Shavon Plummer, Mass Development, the Real Estate Development Project Manager. What is the purpose of the program? The 2020 Economic Development Bill created the Commonwealth's Underutilized Properties Fund to be administered by Mass Development for the purpose of providing assistance to projects that will improve, rehabilitate, or redevelop blighted, abandoned, vacant, or underutilized property to achieve the public purposes of eliminating blight, increasing housing production, supporting economic development projects, and increasing the number of commercial buildings accessible to persons with disabilities. Who is eligible? Through the Community One Stop, municipalities, municipal agencies or authorities, economic development and industrial corporations, economic development authorities, nonprofit entities, and for-profit entities can apply for the Underutilized Property Program funding. Where does the Underutilized Property Program fit in the One Stop? Here is the One Stop's development continuum. UPP is listed under the building underutilized property rehabilitation project type. Important project parameters. Project budget. The maximum award for the underutilized property program is $1 million. Applications may be awarded partial funding depending on the availability of funding and project scope. While the Underutilized Properties Program does not require a match, projects that leverage other public and private investments may be more competitive. Project timeline and requirements. Projects that are scheduled to be completed within 1 year of award may be more competitive. Projects that are ready to begin construction within 3 months of award may be more competitive. Eligible use of funds. Underutilized Properties Program funding can only be used to fund work within the envelope of an existing structure. Funds are not intended to be used for such items like site work, demolition, unless necessary for building stabilization, or new construction. Funding restrictions. Underutilized Property Program will not reimburse any expenses incurred for work already completed prior to the granting period. Funding by the Underutilized Property Program is meant to support a municipality's effort to bring new private development that can result in direct economic impact and/or benefits to the community. Redevelopment of buildings for general public or municipal use will not be as competitive as new private development, such as housing or commercial development. To qualify for consideration by the Underutilized Properties Program in the building category, the applicant must be able to demonstrate ownership of the property that would benefit from grant funding. How to be competitive? What is the key information that program reviewers take into consideration? The proposed use of the grant funds must be consistent with the categories of eligible uses. How the use of grant funds will enhance the public purpose goals in the program's establishing legislation, including, but not limited to, eliminating blight, supporting the economic vitality of downtowns and town centers, facilitating the production of workforce in low-income housing, and increasing the number of commercial buildings accessible to persons with disabilities. In addition to enhancing the public purposes set forth in the statute, how the applicant demonstrates the economic benefits of the funded improvements in terms of jobs and/or housing units enabled by the increased occupancy, as well as spillover benefits for the surrounding community. Project timelines that can be completed within the fiscal year are preferred. Except for requests for design funding, applicants must demonstrate that the proposed improvements have been designed and permitted such that the work can start within 2 months of a grant award. Successful applicants will be able to demonstrate their experience or the experience of their design and construction team with similar projects. How the applicants demonstrate the financial need for support will also be taken into consideration. Are there any particular important questions? The following sections and questions are important and should not be left blank. Project overview questions, grant funding request chart, project outcome questions, and site information questions. What attachments should applicants be prepared to include in their applications? All applications must include a letter of support from the municipality that clearly states the proposed funding's public purpose and/or benefit. For-profit entities will need to make clear the public purposes advanced by their proposed funding request. Successful application example number 1, the Adams Theater. The restoration of the long vacant Adams Theater located in the heart of Adams. In May of 2021, Adams Theater LLC purchased the 11,056 square foot building that includes an unused auditorium and 2 vacant street front spaces. The UPP funds were used for the auditorium electric upgrade, HVAC, new roof, and an accessible new floor. The Adams Theater renovation project is a multifunctional performance venue that has accelerated downtown economic development. The applicant was able to demonstrate the financial need for support. The applicant also demonstrated how the use of grant funds would enhance the public purpose goals in the program's establishing legislation, including but not limited to eliminating blight, supporting the economic vitality of downtowns, and increasing commercial building accessibility to persons with disabilities. Successful application number 2, Franklin Food Pantry. Franklin Food Pantry building renovation was completed by the nonprofit applicant who received funds to convert a former auto repair shop into a community food pantry to address social and health disparities. The new location will allow the pantry to operate for more hours and increase access to healthy food. It also includes office space to allow for confidential client support. The UPP funds were used to renovate the vacant garage into expanded food pantry to address social and health disparities. The food pantry is a strong organization with an important mission, which is what made this project successful. The applicant was able to demonstrate the financial need for support. and the applicant was able to demonstrate their experience and/or experience of design and construction team with similar projects. Successful application number 3, applicant's 8 Station LLC. Total interior demolition of a vacant bank and attached offices for the creation of 16 new residential units with 4 meeting affordability guidelines. They will be forever deed restricted as affordable. The funding was used for electrical, plumbing, interior unit finishes to include window coverings, HVAC, and roof replacement. The applicant demonstrated how the use of funds will enhance the public purpose goals in the programs establishing legislation, including but not limited to eliminating blight, supporting the economic vitality of downtowns, and facilitating the production of low-income housing. The applicant demonstrated the project could be completed within the fiscal year. The applicant was able to demonstrate their experience or the experience of their design and construction team with similar projects. Completing the full application. In section 2 of the full application, applicants are asked to indicate the project category. To be reviewed by UPP, applicants should make the following selections in question 2.4. Development continuum, building. Project type, underutilized property rehabilitation. Project focus. Select the most appropriate project focus option for your application. For more information on completing full application, visit www.mass.gov/onestop to view One-Stop Webinar 2, Application Guidance. FY25 round timeline. The full application and expression of interest opened in January. The full application is the official form for submitting all funding requests. Applicants may now begin to work on applications in the IGX system. However, applications will only be accepted during the submission period. One-stop guidance phase, January to May. A series of webinars will be hosted by both the One-Stop team and staff from each program within the One-Stop. In addition, office hours will be hosted to answer applicant questions. Visit www.mass.gov/onestop for the full schedule of webinars and office hours. Full application submission period, May through June. Applicants may submit their full applications beginning May 6, 2024, although applications must be submitted by the full application deadline of 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday, June 5th. Review and evaluation, July through August. All complete and eligible full applications submitted by the deadline will be reviewed and evaluated by the corresponding program managers at each state agency. The One-Stop team will also conduct joint application reviews across agencies. Based on the program's criteria, each program will prepare a list of applications recommended for funding to be further reviewed and approved by agency and secretariat leadership. Notification of grant decisions, September. Once final recommendations have been approved, applicants will be notified of grant decisions in writing, and announcement events will be scheduled. Opportunities for guidance. Visit www.mass.gov/onestop for more information on expressions of interest. Complete an expression of interest form to see if your project or projects are eligible for funding through the One-Stop and get tips for preparing your application. One-Stop and program webinars. Recording of all One-Stop webinars are now available on the One-Stop website. Office hours. One-stop general guidance office hours will be held by staff to discuss general one-stop process and technology questions. Program office hours. Well, staff from each program will hold an office hour to answer applicant questions related to the program. The underutilized property program's office hours will be held on Thursday, March 7th, 2024 at 10 a.m.